What's going on, people, and welcome to another top 10. This one was voted by you guys in the community recently. This one won out by quite a bit of a distance, and it's top 10 all-time, my personal favourite Ajax players. So I hope you enjoy it. I will put another vote for the next top 10 in the community, so make sure you go over and check that and get voting on that one. But I appreciate everyone that did vote, and before I get into it as well, United beat Sheriff the other night 2-0 away, and I was going to do a post-match recap like I usually do and the player ratings, but the link didn't work again for me. I've had this problem recently when it's not on Sky. The links I was using before don't seem to be working. So I can't be, I've only got to watch the highlights basically, and I don't want to give player ratings and a full recap on a game when I haven't really seen it like that, because you can't really base it off of just highlights because you don't see the majority of the play. So there's going to be no player ratings because I'm not going to put my time into stuff when things aren't working in terms of like the links and that. So when it doesn't work, there won't be recaps. There might be a brief recap, but there won't be player ratings for definite, because I'm not going to base my ratings on highlights because it's not fair. So just to give you guys a heads up. But yeah, good win for United. He went a lot stronger than I thought he would, Ten Hag, with the lineup he went with. And we got a result. I predicted 3-0. It was 2. And yeah, Ronaldo got a goal that was much needed for him. And a pretty comfortable win in what could have been a very difficult place to go. So good win. But into the top 10 this week, guys. Top 10 all-time Ajax players for me. In at number 10, Hakim Ziyech. Always been a fan of him. I only learnt about him probably about 4 years ago, something like that, when he was at Ajax. He obviously was heavily involved in that part of the team with Van der Beek when they reached the semi-finals of the Champions League, and they looked set to be in the final that year, and then Tottenham got, like, the Moura goal got them in the dying seconds to get into the final against Liverpool. But Ziyech, for that season alone in the league and Champions League, dominated, and I think he was their best player. So I learnt about him that way. Obviously, he's at Chelsea now. Been a bit in and out of the team at Chelsea and had some injury problems, and it's quite well reported of his problems with the national team as well, with Morocco and the coach he's fell out with. And so for me, he's one of the best players in the world to watch, I think, when he's on it. But he seems to be a bit of a temperamental player. He performs when he wants to and not always consistent, because it seems that he's not that in love with football at times. But it's more so when he turns up, when he feels like it. So, but when he is on it, he's one of my favourite players to watch. And I think he's one of Ajax's best ever players, even in a short time he was there. So, hence that is why I've got him in the list. Ziyech, number 10. Coming in at number 9, a guy that is not short on confidence and self-belief. He's won titles at every club he's been at, and he's dominated, I think, and always been underrated for me. I think people don't like him because he rubs them up the wrong way with his self-confidence, but I think he's backed it up through his career with what he's won, and that is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. One of my favourite all-time players to just watch in general, in terms of the flair he's got, the confidence I like, even though it rubs people up the wrong way. I like athletes like that. He continues to win. He continues to play on. He's got the longevity in the career. He's had some nasty injuries and comes back. You see him posting videos of his workouts after injuries that people think will end his career, and he's still going at a very old, well, I think he's in his 40s now, or getting close to it, so, and he's still in great shape. Obviously, he does like martial arts and stuff. He's a black belt in, I think it's Taekwondo or something like that, so just a phenomenal athlete, one that, a bit like Ronaldo, has that mindset and bounce back ability and prove the doubters wrong. And I love watching him. So Ibrahimovic, number 9. Number 8, Wesley Snyder. Was quite young at the time when he was in the Ajax team, and went on to have a good career at the likes of Inter Milan. I remember him mostly, but also at Madrid as well. And I've obviously watched him for Holland over the years in international tournaments. I was a very big fan of him. I would have liked United to get him a few years back in his prime, because he was one of my favourite players at the time, especially at Madrid and Inter Milan. Set pieces, if you want them, he can take them. Penalties, free kicks, corners. And he was just a great assister of the ball as well, setting up teammates, and could score worldies as well. So Snyder, one of my all-time favourites, and a vital impact in the Ajax system over the years. Number 8. Number 7, Vaar. One that visited the English shores his time at Tottenham. Probably could have done a little bit better at Tottenham. I think he did improve them when he came over, but didn't really win anything. But it was along with like Bale and Pavlyuchenko, if you remember him. And I thought he did okay at Tottenham, but you'd hope when you buy someone of his calibre that you'd win something. Didn't quite happen, but I think he did have some very good games for them. But obviously captained Ajax at quite a young age, I believe. Highly thought of and respected even after he retired and left the club. I just know he's a massive part in their history at that club, and I remember seeing him for them. But more so, I got to be honest, for Hamburg when I was growing up, but I do remember him at Ajax, so couldn't leave him off the list. Number 7, Rafael van der Vaart. Number 6, a guy that is still currently playing at my team now as well. Shocked when we got him. He's played a lot more football considering what happened to him quite recently than I thought he would when we brought him in, and that is Christian Erickson. I remember and learnt about him through the Ajax system. I noticed him and I thought, this guy's good. He was very good. And then obviously got bought. Surprised that he went to Brentford when he did. Helped them stay up and was a vital part in their way of playing. And I was surprised that not surprised they couldn't keep him, but I think it was a shame that he didn't stay there, even though we've kind of won and got him. Always been a fan of him. I like him even more than I used to be honest. And after what happened to him, I'm just glad he's still here. But he's gone on to kick back straight into it. So yeah, great player, and you can definitely see what he brings to a team, and he was vital in that Ajax team as well. So Christian Erickson, number 6. Number 5, Jaap Stam. In terms of an intimidation factor, solid, reliable, hardly ever injured, and won things there as well. Jaap Stam, great defender. Obviously, he was at United as well. Ferguson admitted that he let him go too soon when he sold him eventually from United. And I think he's one of United's best ever defenders as well. So highly thought of in that system as well at Ajax, I know, highly respected. And actually managed my local team, Reading, as well for a little while. But yeah, a colossus of a defender in his day. Very hard to beat one-on-one, and positionally very good. Hardly ever caught out. Didn't have a ton of pace on him, but he was very clever at reading the game. And for that, never really got caught. So, Jaap Stam, number 5. Number 4, Luis Suarez. A guy that, again, first time I ever saw him was for Ajax. And look what he's gone on to do. Had a fantastic career. One of the best ever seasons in Premier League history as well. What he did at Liverpool at the time. Really should have won a title with them at the time. But yeah, what he went and done at Barcelona for Uruguayan tournaments as well. He's got them quite far and exceeded expectations, I think. He's had a lot of stick for things like with the biting incidents and that. But in terms of just sheer ability and quality, yes, he's at the nearest end of his career right now. But I still think he can offer something. So, brilliant player. Individual as well, good character about him, and a fantastic footballer. Luis Suarez, number 4. Number 3, Blind. Obviously his dad had a lot of time with Ajax as well, and then he's gone on to follow in his footsteps. He's had some issues with his heart as well, similar to Erickson in the past. I believe he plays with like a kind of pacemaker type thing as well now. So, but yeah, obviously he had his time at United as well. I think he was underrated there at the time. Fit into the system well. He's a very good passer of the ball, playing out from the back, but couldn't defend as well. Can take free kicks, corners, and penalties. Very reliable player. And yeah, just very good. One of them typical Dutch players that's very good on the ball. So, Blind, number 3. Number 2, Van der Sar. Won some Champions League with Ajax. Just a sheer figure in between the sticks. A leader. Can play out from the back, play with his feet as a keeper, one of the earliest to do it in that sort of system, playing out from the back. Everyone tries to do it nowadays. He was doing it in the 90s. Won a Champions League with Ajax as well. Obviously won one with United. He's gone on to do and win a lot of things in his career, and I believe he is now the club ambassador or director or something for Ajax. So great keeper, really good career. Everywhere he's gone, he's done well. Even at teams that are considered sort of underdogs or lower teams, he's done fantastically, I think. So, Van der Sar, great keeper, one of the best ever keepers, in my opinion, in world football, number 2. And then at number 1, a guy that I highly respect, and one that I think has won like 4 or 5 Champions Leagues with different clubs. And I think he's the only player to do that, and that is Clarence Seedorf. very good for his country as well, but more so on the club scene. AC Milan, I remember the years he spent there as a vital figure in that team, and then stayed there and helped like in the dressing room in terms of being that older figurehead in the team. And as I said, he's got that Champions League record with 4 or 5 different clubs he's won it at, and Ajax was one of them. But just a sheer technical player on the ball, very underrated, just very clever, a bit like a Scholes type of player, but I think he had probably a little bit more to his game as well in terms of all-round. A fantastic player, as I said, on the ball, very hard to budge, very clever, never lost possession, very rarely injured for a player that played as long as he did as well. And for me, his title achievements and what he won and how long he played for, I think he's very underrated. I saw he made some of the all-time Champions League lineups for what they did on BT not too long ago with ex-players and stuff. And because of his quality, I can see why. He didn't quite make mine, but it was very close to, because I remember how good he was. So, Seedorf, #1 for me. And that is my Ajax all-time top 10 list, guys. Let me know yours in the comments and your list and your order of it. And yeah, as I said, for the match recaps and player ratings, if I can't watch the games with the links not working, then there won't be proper player ratings. I might do a brief recap. When they're on Sky, it's no problem because I've got Sky and I can cover it. But just to give you a heads up on that as well. But that is my list, guys. Let me know your order in the comments and who you have fond memories of as well as Ajax players as well. So before I go though, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.